Hi, everybody. Welcome into Walking On with Jordan Ham. We're brought to you by Rockin' Protein. Rockin' Protein, we appreciate their support. Now, with the Arizona Wildcats, we've seen a lot of changes on the roster and within the coaching staff this offseason. Brent Brennan making some adjustments, and we're going to hear from Seth Doege, the new offensive coordinator, in just a couple of minutes. But first, let's talk defense. Danny Gonzalez is now the defensive coordinator for the Wildcats. He had that same role with Arizona State just a couple of years ago, and last year he was the linebackers coach and special teams coordinator for the Wildcats. And he's overseen a lot of different types of defenses over the years, but for him, it really comes down to the players in terms of the plays that he calls.
The Desert Swarm is all a part of what we've done forever. San Diego State, our 3-year run where we were 15 to 17th, where we finished 12th in the country all 3 years, we were predominantly a 4-down front. A lot of the stuff that we did last year, because those were our best players, and that will never change. We'll go through our room, we'll put our top 22 together, and then whoever our best players are, if we have 4 D linemen that we think are elite, then that's what we're going to major in. If we have 3 D linemen and 3 linebackers we think we're elite, that's what we're going to major in.
And the new defensive line coach is Joe Salavea, who was with Miami and Oregon most recently. He's been with Mario Cristobal for quite a few years now, but he's helped oversee the development of some big-time defensive linemen, and he's also a former Wildcat. He was a part of that Desert Swarm defense. When he looks back at that time in Tucson, it really came down to one thing.
Part of this whole experience is to make sure that we're bringing the right people in the building, and they got to have that mentality, and that's what this program was built on. It was a blue-collar mentality.
And after inheriting the majority of a roster that won an Alamo Bowl in 2023, Brent Brennan was very disappointed with his first year in Tucson, and he can tell the type of work that's being put in now, so that's not a repeat occurrence in 2025.
I don't think I can explain to you what this last 5 weeks has been in terms of the workload. It has been incredibly intense, and it's because everyone's so motivated. Everybody wants to feel better. Everybody wants to build something that we can feel great about, and that's what everybody has been in here day and night, 7 days a week.
We shift from the defense to the offense for the Arizona Wildcats, and we are joined by offensive coordinator Seth Doege. Coach, thanks so much for joining us, and how's it been so far here getting settled in Tucson?
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on. It's been awesome. I'm super pumped about this opportunity. Tucson's been great. I think this is a dope place. And obviously the people have been great so far. And so it's just been exciting.
When you're building the culture of an offense, what are you looking to attack first?
Yeah, I think the first thing you got to do is make sure you have the personnel that can compete, right? We joke about it all the time as coaches, but the X's and O's are great when the Jimmy and Joes can play, right? So obviously if you have the skill set to go compete, then you got a chance to win any game you play, or at least a chance to score on any team that you play. So obviously you got to get the personnel somewhat competitive. And then the second thing is creating a mentality. And I was talking to some guys in the office recently about Mike Leach, who obviously I played for. And one of the things that I thought he was brilliant at was creating a mentality to expect to score. And so I've kind of taken that with me as a player, transitioned it to the way I coach as well, and I harp on that every single day, of creating a mentality and creating a standard of winning offensive football. And so that's a big challenge for me here. I think we have some pieces that we can go compete and have some really talented football players on offense. I think the biggest challenge is create a mentality that those guys expect to score every time we touch the field. And if we can get that done, then like I said, I think we can we'll have a chance to go score on anyone.
You already got a big win in Noah Fafita returning to Tucson this offseason. I saw in a previous interview you mentioned he's the perfect fit to run the offense you want to run. Why is that?
I think the ability as a passer. I think he's extremely accurate, and he throws a very catchable football. So if you want to play in a quote unquote air raid scheme, which is ours is based from an air raid philosophy from a pass game standpoint, getting the ball out of his hands, being on time and in rhythm, and understanding space and how to manipulate space with throws. That just it just fits what I look for. And so if we can, I think the biggest thing for him is like obviously understanding what I'm trying to do offensively and understanding the time, rhythm, and space of the concepts. We got plenty of time to get that done. But like I said, I think he's a very special player, and from a skill set, he's exactly what I'm looking for.
When you're looking at the wide receiver room, obviously Tedero McMillan moving on, but you've also been very busy in the portal. Trey Spivey, Luke Wysong, Chris Hudson, even I think a couple more that I'm not sure if we're able to talk about quite yet. But when you look at that wide receiver room and the playmakers that will be, catching the ball from Noah, what excites you about this group, both from the transfers and the guys that will be returning as well?
Yeah, I think well, one thing I'm really excited about is Bobby Wade. He was one of the first guys that I met, obviously through my interview, but like even when I stepped on campus as the OC, there was just an immediate vibe, immediate alignment with him, and so I think he does a tremendous job with that room. So I'm really excited to work with him because at the end of the day, I believe in this. For our scheme to work, our receiver play has to be played at a high level. And so I do think the room, with some guys coming back, some young guys that weren't given the opportunity as of yet, whether they weren't ready, and then obviously it was a T-Mac show last year. I think we have some guys in the room that can really progress and provide a lot of value. And then, obviously what we, like you said, through the portal, I wanted a big guy. I think having like length on the outside is important. So Trey does give us that length, and then the rest of those guys they can run. So we got really fast, very explosive. So I'm super excited about that room. There's a high standard of play that we expect and demand. So I'm looking forward to see which guys are up for the challenge.
When you look at Arizona as a recruiting hotbed, what stands out to you about the type of schools that are out here, the type of players that come out here, and how do you think that you can leverage that in the years to come to get them to Tucson?
Yeah, I think obviously Arizona has a rich tradition of playing good football, and so I think as long as we put together um, a product that when local kids come and watch games or they watch highlights or they can feel it throughout the state of us doing exactly what the team up north did last year, you know what I mean, and or this year, and putting out a product that's exciting and that they want to be a part of. I think like you said, it's a hotbed of recruiting. Every time we were at USC for a little bit with Graham Harrell, was as right hand there, and it just seemed like Arizona had all the best quarterbacks at the time. And so there's always good quarterback play here. There's always good, skill guys here. Bijan Robinson was a big deal for us at USC at the time. So you can find those guys here. I think it's just important that we continue to build on the momentum that we have going right now, and then follow it up with a very productive, entertaining brand of football. And now those kids want to stay home and come play for the Wildcats.
Coach, thanks so much for the time and the insight. I know it's a crazy time of year for you as you're attacking the portal and continuing to build this. Thanks so much for the time.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.